In today's video, we're going to be looking at more types of reflections, specifically over different types of lines. So we've looked at reflections over an axis, for example, the x-axis and the y-axis, but now we're going to be looking at different types of lines a figure can be reflected over. So remember, a reflection, another way to say an object is reflected is if it flips. Okay, so as we can see, or mirrors. That's another way to say it. Flips or mirrors. Okay, it's a mirror image of itself. Now we can tell this is flipped, but it's not flipped over an axis, right? It's not flipped over the x-axis. It's not flipped over the y-axis. It looks like there's a line here, and I'm going to draw using these dots here, a line that goes from the origin and goes up one, right one, all the way through the grid where it reflects over. Look, A reflects over to B, and this is the mirror right here. If I were to draw a straight, if I were to draw a straight line, probably, it's probably better if I do this and connect all those dots. Probably not going to do a good job connecting it without the straight line function. Okay, this line right here, okay, as you can see, we have 3, 2, and 2, 3, 4, 3, and this is 3, 4. So basically, it's switching the x and the y numbers, and it's reflected over this line. This line right here is called the line y equals x. Okay, so when something is a mirror image of itself, looking like it's flipped, not over a specific x-axis or a y-axis, probably flipped over this line, y equals x. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. All right, same thing here. All right, and again, if I draw, it looks like this. It's not flipped over the x-axis. It's not flipped over the y-axis. Okay, what's it flipped over? Okay, let's see. If I draw this line again, if it's a mirror image. Okay, so there's my line. And I just take one corresponding point. So if I look at A right here, this corresponding point right here with B is right here. All right. So what's the coordinates of A? The coordinates of A is -1, 5 of this point right here. Maybe I'll highlight it in purple. Okay. This point right here, the corresponding point in figure B is just the numbers flipped around. 5, -1. So -1, 5 becomes 5, -1, and it's flipped over the line y equals x. Okay, so another example of a reflection over that line. Let's take a look at another example. Oh, a little bit different. It's not going to be the line y equals x with this one. It's not, again, not the x-axis or the y-axis, okay, but it looks like it's the line going in the opposite direction. So it's actually this line right here. Going all the way through. So as you can see, this is the mirror that flips A to B. Okay, this line right here is the line y equals -x. Okay, now how do I know if it flips over the line y equals -x? Okay, let me take a corresponding point. Let's take a look at this point right here. -4, 1. So this point right here is -4, 1. And the corresponding point here is -1, 4. So it makes one of the numbers negative. And you could ask, well, isn't this what we do when we rotate something 90 degrees? We switch the numbers? No, because it stays in the same quadrant, right? If you rotated this 90 degrees, it would end up over here. okay? And if you're rotating around the origin, okay? But this is being flipped, okay? So and you can see clearly in the object when it's being flipped, okay? Let's look at one more example. Okay, this one right here. Looks like the same kind of scenario where it's being flipped over this line right here. And I'm not going to go all the way through, but I'm going to go through just enough so that you could see, hey, this is where my mirror is. So this line right here, again, is the line y equals negative x. Okay. So just two more examples of a situation that you could have when you're flipping over the line, um, either y equals negative x, like this one, or if I zoom out, okay, here we go. Line y equals x, right? If I flip it over this, it's going to flip over the line going up and right. Okay. So those are other different types of reflections you could have over lines. And that's pretty much all the ones we're going to cover with our transformations unit. So thank you for watching today's video. And always remember, whether you're solving for X or Y, always give math a try.